One court ruling this year could make a simple stop for gas feel like a legal trap for a licensed carrier. And another case could decide whether something legal in your state still makes you a prohibited gun owner under federal law. Quick question before we continue. Are you subscribed? Because what I am about to reveal could save you from a life-changing mistake. A lot of gun owners think, I've got my permit, I know my state law, I am good. But that is exactly how people get blindsided. Laws change, court rulings change, deadlines change, and sometimes the rule that gets you in trouble is not the one you broke on purpose. It is the one you did not know existed. So if you care about your rights, your record, and your freedom, hit subscribe right now. I cover this stuff so you do not have to dig through court filings and state websites all night. Let us get into the first update, because this one is huge. First, the Supreme Court is looking at a case out of Hawaii that could affect where licensed carriers can walk while armed. Here's what just happened. The court agreed to hear a case about whether a state can treat private property open to the public as a default no-carry zone unless the owner says yes. In simple English, imagine you have a valid carry permit. You stop at a gas station, grab coffee at a corner store, or walk into a small shop. In some states, the rule may be that you are breaking the law unless that business clearly allows carry. That flips the normal idea on its head. Most people think, if there is no sign, I am probably fine. But this case asks whether silence from the owner means no. That is why this matters so much. If the court backs that kind of law, permit holders in other states may see similar rules survive. If the court rejects it, states that copied this model could be in trouble. Here's the part nobody is talking about. This is not just about one island state. Other states already have similar laws. So a summer ruling could change how you think about every coffee run, grocery stop, and gas fill-up. Second, the Supreme Court is also set to hear a case about gun possession and drug use. And this one could hit concealed carriers harder than people realize. Let me break this down for you. Federal law says an unlawful user of a controlled substance cannot possess a firearm. The case, now heading to the court, focuses on marijuana use. And yes, this is where it gets messy. A lot of people live in states where marijuana is legal under state law, so they think that means they are safe. But federal law does not work that way. Most people think state legality solves the problem, but the truth is federal law still controls federal gun bans. Imagine you have a carry permit, you bought your handgun legally, and you never harmed anyone. Then, during some unrelated investigation, or even in a form, text, or statement, your marijuana use becomes part of the record. Now your whole gun status could be questioned. This is the part that shocked me when I first saw how many people misunderstand it. A Supreme Court ruling here could either narrow that federal ban or keep it standing strong. Either way, if you carry and also assume state marijuana laws protect you, do not make that mistake. Third, there are active court fights over age limits that could affect young adults who want to buy or carry handguns. Have you ever wondered why an 18-year-old can vote, join the military, and still face extra handgun limits from licensed dealers? That exact question is still moving through the courts. Right now, there are cases challenging federal rules that block dealer handgun sales to people under 21. Why should you care if you are older than that? Because these cases shape the future of public carry law for a whole age group. If you are 18 to 20, this could directly affect your ability to get the handgun you want for lawful defense. If you are a parent or grandparent, this could affect your family. Here is what most people get wrong. They think every gun case is about bans on models or magazines. But some of the most important fights are about who counts as part of the people protected by the Second Amendment in the first place. If the courts expand those rights, more states could face pressure to loosen rules for younger adults. If not, those limits may stay put for years. Fourth, Congress is again talking about national concealed carry reciprocity. That sounds exciting, but slow down, because this is where people get burned by headlines. Reciprocity means one state honors another state carries permit. A bill in Congress, H.R. 38, would create a federal framework for carrying across state lines if you are eligible in your home state. On paper, that sounds like a dream for anyone who travels. Imagine driving from one state to another without studying a dozen different permit maps. Sounds great, right? But here's the crazy part. It is not law, not yet. It has moved through key steps farther than many bills do, but it has not finished the full process. So if someone online tells you nationwide carry is here, that is wrong. And if you act on that bad information, you could end up carrying illegally in another state. Do not make this mistake. Until a bill becomes actual law, you still need to follow the rules of every state you enter. This is one of those updates you watch closely, but you do not bet your freedom on a headline. If you are finding this helpful, imagine what you will learn in my next video about the 5 words that protect you when cops ask about your gun. Subscribe so you do not miss it. Fifth, the so-called ghost gunfight just got a major update. And yes, this can affect regular gun owners, not just hobby builders. The Supreme Court already upheld the federal rule that lets the government regulate at least some gun kits and unfinished frames or receivers like real firearms. Here's what that means in plain English. If a kit can be turned into a working gun fairly easily, federal rules may require serial numbers, background checks, and dealer records for that sale. A lot of people thought this issue only mattered to people building guns at home for fun. But wait, there's something even more important. If you bought a kit, received one, or plan to build a carry gun from parts, you need to know exactly what is covered now. This is one of those areas where old forum advice can get you in trouble fast. I heard this was legal 2 years ago is not a defense that helps much when rules change. If your idea of staying informed is reading comments under a random video, you are gambling with federal law. Sixth, New York remains one of the biggest warning signs for carry permit holders, especially because some of its rules are not just about getting the permit. They are about keeping it current. Right now, concealed carry license holders in New York must recertify every 3 years instead of every 5. That sounds small, but missing a deadline can create a very ugly problem. Here's a hypothetical example to explain this. Say someone got licensed, put the paperwork in a drawer, and assumed the old timing still applied. 3 years pass. They are still carrying, still thinking they are legal, and then they find out they missed recertification. That is not the kind of surprise you want at a traffic stop, and training matters too. New York requires a long safety course for concealed carry applicants, including classroom time and live fire. Some renewals in certain counties also trigger training. The lesson here is simple. A permit is not a one-time trophy. In some states, it is more like a subscription with serious penalties if you forget to renew the right way. Now, quick legal note. This is educational information, not legal advice. Always consult an attorney for your specific situation. Seventh, New York carry's map is still full of what the law calls sensitive locations. And that phrase is just a polite way of saying a lot of places are off limits. Let me explain why this matters. Sensitive locations in New York include places like government buildings, schools, public transit, bars and restaurants serving alcohol, many entertainment venues, parks, and more. Think about how easy it is to move through 3 or 4 of those places in a normal day, without even planning to. You ride a train, meet a friend for food, walk near a public event,